Welcome to my channel. Pennhurst Asylum. Pennhurst was a state-run institution for the mentally and physically disabled. It is located in Pennsylvania, and was constructed in 1903. It was first opened in 1908. It was believed that more than 4,000 patients needed a care facility, and Pennhurst was the place for people to receive the care they needed. Pennhurst was often subject to overcrowding, and the residents were treated poorly. The asylum was required to house no more than 500 patients at a time, but this wasn't the case. Those patients with more severe disabilities were said to have been treated horrendously. It had a history of being understaffed, dirty and violent. On November 23, 1908, the first patient was admitted. It would take just 4 years for the asylum to become overcrowded. They were under pressure to admit immigrants, orphans and criminals too. Back in those days, mental health disorders were not fully understood. In 1974, it was found that a patient by the name of Terry Lee Halderman, a young woman, had suffered various unexplained injuries throughout her time at Pennhurst. A case was filed on her behalf, which resulted in the district court ruling in 1977 that Pennhurst had violated its constitutional rights of its patients. However, the Supreme Court would reverse this decision, but the case would go on to trigger Pennhurst's closure. Pennhurst ran from 1908 to 1987. It was subject to tremendous public scandal and controversy before the federal courts ordered its closure in 1987, and the patients moved elsewhere. Pennhurst closed, and remained vacant for many decades. In 2008, a private development group purchased the site and planned to use it to create the Pennhurst Asylum Haunted House. Pennhurst would be a place that would witness various apparitions, which attracted many ghost hunters. Some witnesses have reported the apparition of a little girl roaming around the building. The sounds of children crying are also often reported as a common occurrence. The underground tunnel is reported to be severely haunted by the spirits of patients who died at Pennhurst. Doors are often slammed shut, footsteps heard, and cries heard in empty rooms. Today, Pennhurst has become a popular tourist attraction for visitors all over. There are 3 haunted attractions for visitors to see: the legendary Pennhurst Asylum, the Morgue of Pennhurst, and Pennhurst Tunnels. On special days, visitors can experience Pennhurst in the dark. Eastern State Penitentiary. Eastern State Penitentiary opened in 1829. It became one of the most expensive buildings in the United States, and received its first prisoner on October 25, 1829. In 1832, it had its first escaped prisoner, William Hamilton. Over the years, several new cell blocks would be constructed, and in 1923, any female prisoners which were housed there were removed. In 1933, the prisoners set fire to their cells, in a riot over insufficient recreational facilities and overcrowding. Then again in 1934, prisoners would again riot and cause more fires. In 1958, Eastern State Penitentiary was certified as a historic building, and in 1965, classed as a National Historic Landmark. It was classed as an architectural wonder of its time, with running water and central heating. Over its time, it housed some of America's most notorious criminals. These included Alphonse Scarface Capone, who was Chicago's most famous mob boss. He spent 8 months at Eastern State Penitentiary during 1929 to 1930. His cell was classed as luxury. Other notorious criminals included Victor Babe Andreoli, Morris the Rabbit Bulber, Leo Callahan, Frida Frost, and William Francis Sutton, better known as Slick Willie. Over the years, there was a history of deaths, murder and torture. Prisoners were often subject to harsh punishments. In January 1970, Eastern State Penitentiary closed its doors for good. But between 1970 and 1971, due to a riot at the county prison of Holmesburg, prisoners were sent back to Eastern State for housing. Between 1971 and the mid-1980s, the building was once again closed and left abandoned. In 1994, It would open its doors for historic tours, which would take place on a daily basis. More than 10,000 visitors were seen there in the first year. It was during these tours that visitors to the site reported strange experiences. Cell Block 12 was often known for hearing voices. Cell Block 6 was known for seeing a shadowy figure looming, with Cell Block 4 seeing ghostly faces appear. Many visitors have reported seeing a silhouette of a guard in one of the towers. Footsteps, cries and whispers are often heard by visitors and staff. Today, you can still visit Eastern State Penitentiary. Maybe you will be one of those who experience strange occurrences. If you're in the area, visit one of these places and see for yourself the haunting that is often reported. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to view other content.